Imagine a sprint race where the runners start at different points. That's a bit like the economic journey of India and the USA. Picture the United States, a seasoned athlete already far along on the track. As a developed nation, it boasts a mature and robust economy seasoned by centuries of growth and innovation. Now, shift your gaze to India, a determined contender still early on its course. This developing nation is known for its rapidly expanding economy, fueled by a youthful population and increasing technological advancements. Now, our aim here is not to declare a winner or to compare these two nations in terms of superiority. No, our focus is to understand their individual economic trajectories, the pace of their strides, and the vigor of their steps. Because ultimately, every economic journey is unique, shaped by its own set of circumstances, challenges, and triumphs. So are you ready to dive into this fascinating economic journey? Strap in for a ride through time and money. To understand the differences, we need to go back in time. Imagine a timeline stretching from the 1950s to the present day. Let's start with the 1950s, when India had just gained independence and was crafting its economic policies, while the USA was basking in the post-war economic boom. India's GDP was modest, as the country was primarily agrarian and just beginning to industrialize. On the other hand, the USA, already an industrial powerhouse, saw its GDP skyrocket, fueled by manufacturing and consumer spending. Rolling into the 1960s and 1970s, India's GDP saw a steady but slow growth as the country grappled with issues like poverty and illiteracy. The USA, however, experienced significant GDP growth driven by technological innovations and the rise of multinational corporations. Come the 1980s and 1990s, India's economy opened up, leading to an increase in foreign investments and a notable spike in the GDP. The USA, meanwhile, was riding the wave of the digital revolution, which further boosted its GDP, making it the world's largest economy. As we stepped into the new millennium, both countries faced their own sets of challenges. The USA's GDP took a hit in the early 2000s due to the dot-com bubble burst and later the 2008 financial crisis. India, on the other hand, maintained a steady GDP growth with a slight dip following the 2008 crisis. Fast forward to the present day, and we see both economies rebounding, albeit at different rates. The USA's GDP remains the largest globally, backed by its strong service sector and technological innovation. India's GDP, though smaller in comparison, shows promising growth potential driven by its burgeoning middle class and tech industry. As we can see, the economic paths of India and USA have been shaped by many factors over the decades. The tale of these two economies is an illustration of how historical events, policy decisions, and global trends can influence a country's GDP. It's a fascinating journey filled with lessons for economists and laymen alike. Now that we've seen the timeline, let's dive deeper into the key factors that influence the GDP of these two countries. First off, population size. India, with its burgeoning populace, boasts a vast labor pool that fuels its economy. In contrast, the United States, despite a smaller population, has a high labor productivity, thanks to its advanced technology and developed infrastructure. Next, we look at industrialization. The United States experienced its industrial revolution in the late 18th century, with rapid industrial growth revolutionizing its economy. India, on the other hand, started industrializing much later, in the mid-20th century, and has been playing catch-up ever since. This difference in timing and pace of industrialization significantly influenced the GDP trajectories of both nations. Foreign investments is another critical factor. The United States, with its stable political environment, strong legal institutions, and thriving consumer market, has always been an attractive destination for foreign investors. India, meanwhile, has been steadily attracting more foreign investments, thanks to its economic liberalization policies and growing middle class. These investments have boosted the economies of both countries, contributing to their GDP growth. Infrastructure development also plays a vital role. The United States has a well-established infrastructure, including transport, energy, and telecommunications, which supports economic activities and promotes growth. India, while making strides in infrastructure development, still has a long way to go to match the infrastructure level of developed countries. and this has implications for its GDP. Last but not least, government policies. The United States, with its free market economy, has policies that promote entrepreneurship and innovation, driving economic growth. India, after many years of a largely state-controlled economy, implemented economic liberalization policies in the early 90s, which spurred growth and increased its GDP. These factors, among others, have played pivotal roles in shaping the economic landscapes of India and the USA. Fast forward to the present day. Where do the economies of India and the USA stand today? The story of India and the USA's economies is a tale of two different worlds. The USA, an established economic powerhouse, and India, a rapidly emerging economy. Let's dive in. In the USA, the gross domestic product is a staggering $20 trillion, making it the world's largest economy. It's a powerhouse driven by technology, innovation, and a strong service sector. However, it's not all smooth sailing. The USA grapples with issues such as income inequality, a growing national debt, and the economic impacts of climate change. Also, the global economic landscape, with its fluctuations and uncertainties, always poses challenges to the USA's economic stability. On the other side of the globe, we have India. With a GDP of $3 trillion, it's the world's fifth largest economy. India's economic strength lies in its vast consumer base, a young workforce, and a booming digital economy. However, like the USA, India also faces its fair share of challenges. Infrastructure development, poverty reduction, and improving the ease of doing business are some areas where work is needed. India's economy is also vulnerable to global economic changes, especially in sectors like IT and manufacturing, where it heavily relies on exports. It's worth noting that both economies, despite their strengths, are not immune to global economic trends. The ongoing trade wars, geopolitical tensions, and most importantly, the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic have left significant impacts. Both countries have had to adapt and innovate in the face of these challenges, reshaping their economic landscapes. So what's the bottom line? The USA continues to be a global economic leader while India is making strides as a rising economic power. Each has its distinct strengths and faces unique challenges in its economic journey. So, here we are in the present day with two very different economies, but what does the future hold? Looking ahead, what can we expect from these two economic powerhouses? As we gaze into the crystal ball of economics, we see potential for growth and challenges alike for both India and the USA. Let's start with India. With its youthful population, rapid urbanization, and burgeoning middle class, India is poised for substantial growth. However, it must grapple with issues such as infrastructure development, education, and job creation to maintain this momentum. Also, the integration of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and digital finance could propel India's GDP growth, but it will be a tightrope walk between adoption and regulation. Now let's shift our focus to the USA. As one of the world's most advanced economies, the USA continues to be a significant player on the global stage. Areas of potential growth include technology, healthcare, and renewable energy sectors. However, challenges like income inequality, an aging population, and the need for infrastructure modernization could temper this growth. The USA's ability to harness the power of emerging technologies while addressing these challenges will be crucial in shaping its economic future. On a global scale, trends such as climate change, geopolitical shifts, and the rise of the digital economy will impact both nations. How they navigate these waters will be critical to their economic progress. India, with its vast renewable energy potential, could lead in the green economy, while the USA, with its technological prowess, could dominate the digital world. However, it's important to remember that economics isn't a crystal ball. It can't predict with certainty, only suggest possibilities based on current data and trends. It's a dynamic field, influenced by a myriad of factors, from policy decisions to unforeseen global events. The future is always uncertain, but one thing is clear. The economic journeys of India and the USA will continue to be a fascinating tale of growth, challenges, and resilience. So we've taken a whirlwind tour of the GDPs of India and the USA. What have we learned? We've traced the GDP timelines of both nations, witnessing the evolution of two very different economies. India, with its burgeoning population and expanding service sector, has demonstrated an impressive growth trajectory. On the other hand, the USA, with its robust manufacturing base and technological innovation, remains a leader in global economics. Key factors like policy decisions, demographic trends, and global events have played pivotal roles in shaping the economic landscapes of both nations. As we stand today, each economy presents its own unique strengths, challenges, and opportunities. India's potential lies in its youthful demographics and burgeoning middle class, while the USA's strength lies in its innovation and financial markets. In the grand economic race, every country runs its own unique path. It's not about who's ahead or behind, but about understanding the journey, and what a journey it's been for both India and the USA.